Yeah, I think we started with the intention of trying to create an environment that had an intense training environment, an environment where it was highly competitive, where guys are competing for positions, and also then a real good connectiveness on the field and off the field. So in these first 2 weeks, I think if we sort of grade ourselves on those objectives, or as a staff, we're happy with where we are. I think there's good connections. We're starting to see relationships build with one another. I think the ideas that we're trying to transmit are coming along, step by step, and I think everyone is feeling that there's good competition throughout the roster, and there's guys that are guys have to compete every single day.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. As always, please use the hand raise function if you have one. We'll start with Ben Wright.
Hey, BJ, good to talk to you. I guess first of all, since we can't see the matches, would you mind just kind of describing, I guess, just the shape that you guys set up in today, and kind of a follow up to that? How do you kind of assess the individual performances and connections kind of within that structure?
Yeah, to kind of give you, I think you've asked us a lot of the questions too, and I'm not a big shape person versus I am about principles and sort of the style and things we want to do. Defensively today, we were just in a standard 4-4-2, and really only kind of were focused on the mid-block area. So we were in that position. I know you guys weren't able to see the game, so I'm just in that first half. It was Jacob and Hani as sort of the front two, and then we had a midfield four and then a back four. With the ball, we're right now in a 4-2 build-up shape, and then I would say that the front four are quite interchangeable, and that's what I was alluding to in terms of our relationship. So in that first half, you have an Andy, Eddie, Hani sort of relationship, and Patrick was tilted as a center midfielder a little bit to the right, and then kind of on your left side, you had a Jacob Taylor. Matt Corcoran, trialist, was in that spot, and Brian Acosta. And so then same thing with the second half. Both teams were exactly mirrored in the same way in terms of formation.
Go ahead, Ben, if you have another one.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you too. We haven't talked since the Chris Applewhite homegrown deal became official. Obviously, he's played in the last 2 games. And I'm sure just since you got here, you've kept a close eye on him. Just what's kind of your assessment of him at this stage, and what have you seen from him that you've liked so far that you're excited about?
Yeah, Chris, when I first arrived in Nashville, I had the opportunity to go see Huntsville play, and there's obviously a lot of people in the club that were making sure that I was aware of Chris and his pathway and his progression. And then you see him play for the first time, and you're like, okay, there's a lot of qualities here that transmit to to playing at a pretty high professional level. Getting the opportunity to really, I would say, work with him for 2 straight weeks. He's a player that is, first and foremost, is really a student of the game. The amount of, for a 17-year-old kid, the amount of video and meetings and I would just say information that he consumes is great in a good way. Asking great questions, and then he has an ability to apply it. And I think that's that's always the big disconnect sometimes, is what to do, but can you actually do it, and can you do it at speed? He's a calm player on the ball, a player who's always looking to break lines, and he's starting to develop that, what I would say, combativeness in duels. It's still an area that he needs to get better at, but it's an area that he's embracing, and we're getting him to really use his physicality, especially without the ball and in individual duels and trying to win them.
Jacob James, go ahead.
Yeah, BJ, just looking at some of the lineups today, you have guys like Chris Applewhite and Wyatt Meyer, and in the same lineup as veterans like Taylor Washington, and then newcomers like Tagsteth up top with Hani and Jacob and that same group. I guess how much is that a focus here is to get kind of younger guys and newer guys to the system incorporated in the same lives with some of the veterans that have been here a while.
Yeah, I think the way we're approaching it, and the way we're approaching it from day one, Jacob, is that this is sort of a blank canvas for all the players. and it's an opportunity for us to sort of, what I say, write chapter 6. So as I told some of the older guys, what got them here and what got them in the seats, not what's going to keep them going forward. And for the young players, I told them that they're going to have every opportunity to earn a position. So in terms of us evaluating our preseason, our first part of preseason, and I would say in that sort of competitive bucket, that's what you're seeing. We're willing to put players out, and we're willing to give players opportunities and chances to earn their position on this team, and that doesn't come with, I would say, years of service. Every single player starts at the same starting point for us in preseason, and the positions will be earned from there.
And go ahead, Jacob, if you have another.
Okay, thank you.
Great, we'll go to Valère.
Hey, BJ. One guy I want to ask you about specifically is Taxef coming in from a different country and adapting, and obviously, on the younger age. What have you seen from him thus far, and where do you see his role going forward into 2025?
Yeah, I mean, first from the transition standpoint, it's been really seamless. I mean, he's an outgoing person. And has really connected with the guys. And on the flip side, a lot of the players here have to, be given a lot of credit for, and I think it speaks volumes of the type of club that we are, is that, when you come into our doors and you come in, you wear our crest, we immediately put our arms around you. We may compete for positions, but you don't like compete to be part of the team. And that's something that's really important for us as we start to bring in new players and obviously recruit players from the outside. Eddie specifically, he's a guy that's he can play anywhere, and so we're constantly going to try to find his right spot. But he's a high energy player, likes to be on the ball, likes to be in between lines, a player that can, I would say, unlock defenses. Whether it's on the dribble or passing balls behind the back line. And then he has a relentless mentality without the ball. Somebody who presses, somebody who back presses. So, he's a player that I think for the first 2 weeks has done and acclimated himself really well, taken on a lot of the coaching that we're asking, and at the same time has been true to his own identity, which is a 90-minute workhorse and doing whatever the team needs.
Go ahead, Valère, with any follow-ups.
Yeah, just one more. Kind of similar question, but Andy Nahar's coming into the team. We talked about Julian Gaines. We've asked you about Julian Gaines and sort of the opportunity he has coming up. I'm assuming those two are fighting for the similar position, if not the same exact position. So what has been the assessment so far in that position, and is there some sort of veteran teaching the younger sort of player when it comes to the right back position?
No, I think there's good, healthy competition at that right back. You're absolutely right. It's Julian and I would say Julian and Andy, competing for that position. I think Andy brings a wide range of skill sets and experience. He's a player that I think can play both right back, left back. But right now, him and Julian are competing for that right back position. I would say it's a professional competition. There's not like they're helping each other out and they're competing. And both have been doing both I would say have done a good job to start. For us in this first 2 weeks.
And Ben, I see your hand still up, so I'll go to you for a last question if you have one. I see your hand down now, so I'm going to say you're all good.
No, I forgot to unmute after like 4 years of this.
You're good.
After this kind of first leg of preseason, I guess if you want to call it, what were some kind of key takeaways that you really wanted to see the group kind of get a grasp of, and do you feel like you guys are in a good place heading into this next stage?
Good question. I think the biggest thing that we wanted to accomplish is to integrate our ideas as a club to a lot of the new players. Nothing super complex, nothing crazy, just really set a foundation on what it's to be a Nashville player, how you train, how you take care of yourself off the field. what's going to be expected of you as a player, and kind of just how to be a Nashville player moving forward. That was really, and to get everybody on the same page, and that's not easy when you're bringing together, 26 guys, and guys are showing up at different times. So that's something that we're constantly mindful of. We're very intentional on how we're building it, and that was really our focus. So that when we kind of now get back to Nashville, and we walk back in our facility, for a week, everybody's very clear on what's expected. The expectations are very clear, and now we can start to push again into this sort of midway point. I would say this midway week of our preseason.
And Claudio, I see you joined. We're just about to wrap up, but go ahead with a question if you have one. I think you might be muted.
Thank you, Sean.
Yep.
BJ, I missed most of the conversation that you guys had, but I did have a question anyways. When you, you and the club decide to actually change the midfield so much, how have you seen so far during practice and even by today's game, which is very early, that you think it's the right choice you've made already?
Yeah, I mean, we're evaluating this midfield every day, and we're putting out different sort of combinations. I think that everyone that's had the opportunity to play in there has shown, that it suits their profile. I think you're seeing a team that is mobile, a team that can play through the middle of the field, players that are comfortable facing forward and playing forward. But also guys that are comfortable sort of, without the ball, moving side to side, stepping forward and pressing. So we've been, I would say we've been quite pleased with the whole group, and the midfield, the midfield is part of that.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you, guys. As a reminder, we'll be back in Nashville next week with training open to all of you guys throughout the week. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and we'll talk soon.
Yep, look forward to seeing you guys. Ben and Valère, congrats on launching your new project. Pretty exciting.
Thank you.
So hope it goes well, and look forward to supporting you guys.
Appreciate it. See you next week.
Yep, see you guys.
Thank you, guys.